your thoughts, bro, about how he looked in that fight against Murata? And do you think, what he showed you says that he can go up against Canelo Alvarez in a trilogy?
I mean, we'll just say this first. This trilogy is happening a little late. I could see why it would happen. Obviously, the record is draw, loss, trilogy. But as a objective boxing fan, even though I like Canelo, Triple G won that first fight. So giving it to him, I say Canelo won the second. So now you go for the third, but we're getting this 4 years too late? Like 4 years too late, right?
Yeah,
it's something like that. I think the trilogy was like 2018, or the second one was like 2018 or something.
I was in college at that time. Yep, I remember.
Yeah, so that was a while ago, and now we're getting it now, and Triple G turns 40 this year. I think he looked pretty good against Murata, though. He got the nice knockout. He stopped him, but other than that, I feel like it was a pretty close fight up until then. I mean, he's still got the power to compete with Canelo, but does he have the does he still have the defense and the mobility to compete with Canelo? That's where I wonder, because Canelo, he loves to dig at that body, throw those left uppercuts to the body when you're not expecting it. If Triple G takes too many of those, he might get caught in the wrong way on one of them, especially at this age. And Canelo's in the prime of his boxing career.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think I would have to give Canelo the edge on this one. I think Canelo wins the trilogy. I don't know if he gets a stoppage, but I think Canelo wins just by outpointing him. I would have to say right now, I would say Canelo wins by points on decision. What do you think, bro?
I mean, when I look at this fight, man, I try to just give my overall reactions. I think it was some good and bad, against Murata. Now, clear, Triple G always been that guy that will absorb punishment to land his own. That's just his style. Like he will absorb the punishment to land his own. And I think that was no shortage of that in this fight. Like he got hit with a lot of body shots. We talk about Canelo and how effective he is at the body, going to the body. He got a lot of body shots in Murata did on Triple G. And I think it was an overall back and forth type of fight until later rounds where Triple G landed a right hand that knocked his mouthpiece out. And after that, Murata's confidence just went downhill once he got tagged with that shot, and that's what set up the eventual knockout. And I believe the 8th round, or the 9th round, or something like that. One of those rounds there where he got the knockout. But still, there was some positive signs. He showed great lateral movement. He showed great conditioning for his age. That was another thing as well, because normally when you're older, you tend to wear off in the later rounds. Now Triple G, he actually got better as the fight went on and exercised his power. And I look at Triple G and I said to myself, as long as you have that power, which he still clearly does, he'll be in any fight against any middleweight. He'll just be in it because he has the power to deliver and he can tag anybody and win. So even though I would have rather see this trilogy with Canelo earlier, I'm not sure why Canelo did not take it at that time and decide right now this was the time to take it. If he wasn't going to take it at that time, I wouldn't have took it, because at the end of the day, not saying Canelo strategically waited him out.
Because he did accomplish a lot in that meantime,
It's like common sense. He's older. You don't fight him now. You don't fight him when he's 40? Like, just that common sense of he's only getting older, bro. He's hitting 40. Clearly, he's not going to be as effective if you would have fought him a couple years ago, again, for the trilogy. So I don't understand that part. I just would have fight Charlo and Benavidez and call it the day, but he wanted to go against Triple G again. I don't know if Canelo feels that those victories are justified, because clearly not only you felt Triple G won the first fight, I did too, and a lot of people did. The second fight was controversial as well, because even though I think Canelo did slightly an inch enough to edge him out,
115, 113. That's how I had it.
And me too. And some people said it was a draw. And honestly, it's not like, it's like, wow, it's a draw. Like, what are you watching? It's like, yeah, it could have been a draw, but I gave it to Canelo. So it's like he probably doesn't feel justified yet, and maybe he wants one more trilogy to show that he's a better fighter, but I don't think we'll get that because he's 40.
And side note, it's sort of like, don't mean to make basketball in it, but, I feel like Kevin Durant's also looking for that justification. He won with the Warriors, but that he also lost 3-1 to those Warriors and then joined them. So it's like, you really think you weren't gonna not win with them? It's like, I feel like Durant's looking for justification in that way too, because Durant, people are always gonna have that asterisk next to his championships, because it's like, dude, look at the team you joined because you lost to them and you were on that team. If you can't win without that team, like, how valuable are your championships? So in a way, it's kind of like that. Canelo's he's looking at it like that. He's like, look, like Triple G is arguably like the biggest name. I mean, Floyd, but he was young. He was 23 years old. He wasn't even near the prime of his career whatsoever. So if you look at the biggest name Canelo's fought, it's been Triple G, in my opinion. And, I feel like he wants that justification. Like, look, like, this is what I did. Like, in the third fight, I left no question about it. I'm the better fighter. I feel like he's looking for that,
Yeah, and I think, to that KD point, it's like, why else would you leave a Warriors team with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson? Why else would you leave a situation where you could contend every year? Is because you want to feel justified for that move, and that got into his head, and that's why he's in Brooklyn right now. Listen, we'll see, bro. I think Triple G still has a puncher's chance. He still has power, and I think he'll make it interesting, bro. Like, no disrespect, but them Billy Joes standing no shot. They standing no shot. Yes, they're great defensive fighters and things of that nature, but offensively, they stood no shot. It was only a matter of time before Billy Joe head was going to get taken off. It was only a matter of time before Caleb Plant, as good as he was, technical as he was, as great of a game plan he had, it was only a matter of time before he was going to get out of there, right, or lose by a decision at worst. So, at least you have somebody in Triple G that can offer something back from an offensive standpoint. The power that can set Canelo back a little bit, because Canelo's going to walk you down. Triple G is going to walk you down. He's not good fighting off his back foot. So now you have that combination going together, and those are the fights I want to see. No disrespect to B-Vol. We'll predict that fight later on. But, technical, he controls the jab well, but, he is a heavyweight, a light heavyweight, so he does have power off of that by virtue of that. But I don't think he goes after it enough. Me watching his highlights, I just don't see it. Like, he goes after the kill. He has that killer instinct. You need somebody with that in order to beat Canelo, and that's why I would like to see the Benavidez of the world fight Canelo and, call it that today. Those are the only guys right now I see that can really offer Canelo something. Is David Benavidez, a.k.a. the Mexican Monster, as my guy Mike Tyson would call him.
The Can You Dig It Sports Radio Network is here. Revolutionize the game of media. Be a dig.